Hey, Cesar, can you hear me? I'm gonna start my video. I'm actually in my car.
Please be patient. I'm using a computer to help me communicate Mac.
No worries. Take all the time you need. I'm right here.
Mm. 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 Mm.
It's great to meet you too. I've been looking forward to this.
Nice to meet you. I watched you on RDF TV.
Oh, thanks for tuning in. I always enjoy doing that interview. It's nice and quick. We hit the highlights when the market reports come out. But thanks for tuning in.
I am a farmer in National Farm Broadcasters Association.
No, and congratulations, because I think Christy said you recently joined NAFB, which is exciting. It's I was at the NAFB convention last year, and it was really cool experience.
Thanks. This is my dream since high school. I met Todd Gleason in person the first time in Champaign.
Oh, awesome. You're getting to pursue not every two, and being able to pursue that is just awesome. I didn't I kind of, it took me a while to figure out that I enjoy working in ag, but as soon as I got a taste of it, it was clear that that's what I wanted to spend my career in. So congratulations on A, discovering that passion early on, and B, making it happen.
Did you decide to work in ag?
So it's an interesting story. So if you'll indulge me for a few minutes, I'll give you how I got to where I am now. So I graduated from college in 2006, and at that point, I graduated and I went to go work for the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And as a newly minted analyst out of college, they just place you on teams that are needing entry level analysts. And I was fortunate to be put on the food and agriculture team within the Producer Price Index, which is the measure. Well, it's the program that measures wholesale level inflation as opposed to the CPI, which measures consumer level inflation. So I had no ag background whatsoever. I mean, I've been on farms a couple times. I have some extended family that had it worked in and around some farming operations in upstate New York, but I come from an academic background, so never really been around food and ag. But being in that first role exposed me to a lot of agricultural data. I started out as a commodities analyst for pork and hogs and cattle and hay and cotton, and it just stuck with me. And I went to and so I did that for maybe 5 years. And then I moved into management, which took me out of agriculture for 2 years. And but I knew there was something missing, that I wanted to still work in ag. So in 2013, during the government shutdown, Monsanto, the seed and chemical company, which is now owned by Bayer, was hiring for a position in corporate strategy that fit a lot of my interests, and it wound up just being perfect timing, intersection of professional and personal interests and desires. I moved out to St. Louis, worked in corporate strategy for a couple of years. Then I worked in international government affairs, part of like a market access team. And then in 2020, and early on in the pandemic, the United Soybean Board was looking for someone to lead their market intelligence efforts with a background in economics and forecasting and analysis and speaking about it. And that's what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years, and it's been fantastic. I enjoy the analysis, but really what I enjoy more than anything is getting to talk with people from around the industry and outside of the industry, and getting to do interviews like this with you and get to know other people in the industry, from a media side as well, is just fantastic. So that's kind of the journey to get here.
Your mom's side of the farm?
Yeah. So my background. So my mom is from New Jersey originally, and outside of New York. And she has a couple brothers, one of whom he tried hobby farming a couple pigs one summer and some chickens. And then I think I have a cousin who did some contract work on a dairy farm in upstate New York. But that's really the extent of it. So that's my mom's side, and my dad's side is all from India, and is more into computer science and such, and more academic stuff. So it's just two interesting backgrounds coming together. And I'm remembering marketing is really, because like you said, your dad was Farm Bureau in Mexico, and has kind of brought that up to Illinois, which is just awesome to see the through line there.
My great-great-grandfather was a Farm Bureau president in Mexico after Mexican Revolution.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, those farming roots go really deep with you then. And that's going back a long time.
He was a Packers and helped the railroad.
Oh wow. So I mean, that's really the history of ag in a lot of ways. And that's one of the things that I've come to appreciate in the last couple years is just that intersection of all these different parts of agriculture. You know, we're obviously managing a lot in the US here with some of the logistical concerns, you know, whether it's railway or waterways right now. And that's one, you know, kind of one end of the spectrum. And then the other is, of course, you know, you talk about, you know, packers and stockyards and animal ag. I mean, that's the vast majority of soy is flowing into those parts of the economy. And it's just such a deeply integrated you know, field and business. And you know, just hearing the history as well from your family, I think is really fascinating.
I'm confused about a lot of soybeans organization. Could you tell me about your organization?
Absolutely. And to be entirely candid, I was kind of confused about I guess what I think of as the alphabet soup of associations because they're all acronyms until I started working for one. Um, so where I work for the United Soybean Board or USB, which is the soy checkoff. So we were set up through a congressional mandate and act and order in the early 1990s, and we represent all soybean farmers within the and we are funded through of within this country at first point of sale captures a very small percentage of that value of sale. So a half a percentage point is collected, and half of that goes to like the core of a percentage point of every soybean sold within the United States, and that money is then subsequently deployed for and invested in research, marketing, and promotion initiatives. So everything from helping advance on-farm research, working with land-grant universities, to international marketing programs, which leads us actually to the next association, which is the United States Soybean Export Council, or USEC. So USEC is primary contractor that works on behalf of USB and state associations, as well as the U.S. government, to advance export of soybeans, soy meal, soy oil, and diversified soy products into the global marketplace. So that's the other major association. And then there's a third major association, which is the American Soybean Association. The American Soybean Association is a membership organization. So it's funded by dues paying members. It's not checkoff funded. And a critical difference between our two organizations is that the American Soybean Association can actually engage on policy discussions and is kind of, among other things, the lobbying wing of the soybean industry within the United States. Basically, they work with, in Washington, D.C. and beyond to, help advocate for farmer advancement, access to, critical production technologies, trade relationships. There's plenty that is done there. And then, of course, we also have the state level associations or the state checkoffs, which get that other half of a percentage point. So that's kind of the general gist there. And
I
I
joined
didn't
your
appreciate all that.
organization as a farmer.
So what's interesting, so this is one of the odd nuances. So we're USB, we're not a membership organization. We just represent all farmers. ASA is one that actually does have a membership component. And if you're interested in joining ASA as a farmer, I can help talk with my contacts over there on how we could pursue membership for you with that. But USB is not a member organization. We just we're congressionally mandated, and we work on behalf of all farmers, independent of size. And you're based in Illinois, correct? If I remember correctly. So we can also talk with the local Illinois Soybean Association, because you might be interested in membership there, because those are also membership level organizations at the state level. So yeah, it would be my pleasure to help introduce you to the people at both ASA and Illinois Soy for you to join.
Sounds good.
Oh, fantastic. I love your excitement and interest about it. It's clear you have a lot of passion for farming and ag broadcasting. So I'll make sure that you get connected back with the right people in those respective organizations.
I have a lot of passion for agronomy and farming football.
That makes two of us on all of those counts. The agronomy and the technical elements that a lot of farmers have, employ on their farms day to day. And yeah, farming, despite not having a farming background, I
I've just come to, draw a passion for it. And then football, this is my favorite time of year. It's obviously hardest season, but having the NFL in full swing is just the best.
And all my Sundays doing. I watched the game last night, which was the Ravens and Bucks, and I don't like Tom Brady, so I was happy to see him lose.
Especially Aaron Rodgers.
He's he's definitely fun to watch. I'd be remiss if I said I do not like the Packers. I'm a Seahawks fan, and the Packers have caused us a lot of woes over the years, and Aaron Rodgers is central to that. But I can respect the game. And actually, last year I took my son to his first football game ever, and we went to see the Seahawks go play the Packers in Lambeau. Which, if you ever have the opportunity to get up to Lambeau, you have to do it. It is just an awesome venue for seeing football. We didn't score a point, but we have, it was just a really fun game to go to, and an incredible experience to have with my son, taking him up there.
Don't get me wrong. You have a lot of knowledge about agricultural with your family farm.
Well, thank you. It's everything I've learned in this field. I think what's really fun and exciting about it is it's all hands-on stuff that we just learned through the course of meeting people, and really people being willing to share their knowledge, whether it's our farmers who will show people around their farms and say, look, this is how farming works. And I think that that's really important for communicating to the greater world, because not everybody has a passion for it, not everybody understands where their food comes from. And I think it's really important for everybody to have that experience of meeting and talking with farmers and learning more and more about it. So even as a kid, just slightly touching up against that with some of my extended family, it's not much, but it's one of the few real jobs out there where you can actually see how something important like food comes together.
Especially right now, because food shortage is real. You see the Mississippi River.
It's even before the Mississippi water level just started, getting to lowest levels in over 30 years. You know, food security, both within this, like we've just through all the COVID disruptions, supply chain disruptions, obviously, costs for everything escalating as energy prices have gotten a lot more expensive. And then, to add on top of all of that, we've got the weather, and you can easily think of weather as having an impact, but is showing us, as you pointed out, not having those adequate water levels. Now it's affecting transportation, and being able to move product up and down the Mississippi, both other parts of the country, but to overseas markets. And it really comes at a profoundly inopportune time. Obviously, it's harvest right now, and we want to be able to get the fruits of our harvest to customers and mouths around the world. And this is, of course, all against the backdrop of shortages and disruption, be it Ukraine and the conflict out of the Black Sea, concerns of food availability coming out of that corridor, particularly going to food insecure parts around the world. So, the hope is that we can get a resolution here, and then get back to an environment where we've got a declining trend of food insecurity, not one that's been increasing.
I watched Scott Shellady, the cow guy, before you. Inflation is coming months.
It's I think I pay a lot of attention to inflation through a number of different sectors. Obviously there's commodity level inflation, which is just kind of tracking the daily markets and everything, but also that time that I spent working in government, I was working directly on inflation, and I think learning to look at different means of price transmission, and how as you have production costs raised for one good or product that's an input to something else, it then just ripples and transmits. And we hear a lot about consumer level price inflation, which is of course important. We're all consumers. We've seen food costs, we've seen energy costs, we've seen costs from a number of other goods and services, which of course are reliant on energy, increased significantly in the last year. But one thing that I think is really underappreciated, maybe outside of the farm space, is this significant increase in input costs that farmers have been facing for over a year now, whether it's fertilizer costs or crop protection costs, or of course fuel, which is needed for machinery. Labor costs are up, and parts and machinery, just the availability of those kinds of inputs and getting things fixed. These are all costs that farmers are seeing. So even as commodity prices for agricultural commodities are high relative to recent history, farmers' margins are getting pressed because of all those input cost pressures. And that's what's scary, because when you have farmers' profitability come down, or potentially turn negative on some acres, then maybe those don't get planted, and then you've got lower production, and it just kind of creates this storm here. So we need to make sure that farmers continue to have a good and viable economic situation, because everything else stems from that.
Yes, especially in inputs and output.
Absolutely, it all comes together.
Thanks for coming in. I do really appreciate. Hey, could you talk with Jesse?
My pleasure, and really thank you for having me, Cesar. This has been a delight. I'm glad we've gotten to do the recording, but also text a little bit about sports and rap and everything else too. And I want to continue that. And I will absolutely reach back out to Jesse. Hopefully, get you guys connected. She's a great person to talk with, and she's has been part of NAFB for a while. So I'll try to reinitiate that, and then yeah, maybe next week I'll follow up with ASA in Illinois on so they can talk with you about potential membership, because obviously you've got a passion for it, and they can give you the guidance for it.
Sounds good, bro.
Amen, bro. Well, appreciate it, Cesar. And I hope you had a great birthday last weekend. And yeah, enjoy your weekend. Have a good Halloween, and we'll be talking more in the days to come.
Talk to you later. Have a fantastic weekend.
Talk soon. Have a fantastic weekend as well, man. We'll talk soon.
This is Mac Marshall from USB. Please subscribe at my podcast. Bye.
Bye, Cesar. Take care, man. Have a good weekend. We'll talk soon. Bye, Cesar.